Hi, this is Sweet June. How's everybody doing today? Coming back at you with another interesting video topic. I want to talk about um, how much information is too much information to share on social media. Now, as I told you guys, um, there's certain people on here that I like to watch. I've talked about um, certain people on here that I like to watch. I like to watch the families and everything, and then I like to watch some of the moms on here. It just really fascinates me how some of these young ladies take care of their kids. I've mentioned that I like Strong Mommy Chrissy. Um, it's a couple other ones that I like to watch on here. Very, very interesting. The one thing I like about YouTube is more real. Whereas if you watch reality TV on television on cable, it's more scripted. Um, it's more scripted. It's not really reality. It's more scripted, because they take bits and pieces, they film bits and pieces, and they edit them all together, and they do certain things for the camera on TV. Certain things they specifically do just for the camera. That's not reality. But when you watch it on YouTube, it's more real. It's more authentic. So I enjoy watching the different families on here and everything like that. Um, I know it's this one family on here named the Prince family. Some of you guys might be subscribed to them because they literally have 2 million scribes. Um, the Prince family, they're called the Prince family. I think my granddaughter turned me on to them. They have 2 million scribes. They have a lot of scribes, and I mean, they they blog their family. They do family blogs, and so they had kind of like a reality thing going on over there. I mean, they pretty much blog everything about their family. They have a beautiful family. It's a husband and wife, and they got two little sons. And the other son, they have another channel with just their son, and he does different things. And I think that's called DJ's Playhouse. And I watch that channel sometimes. They got a lot of subscribers on that channel, and it's just a joy to watch them. I mean, it's a joy to watch them. And um, but one time, they've been kind of blogging. I know she was trying for a third baby, and so they was doing IVF, and so um, they do a lot of doctor's appointment visits and stuff. Now that's kind of interesting how I just think it's interesting how they can film their videos in the doctor's office because of HIPAA laws. Because you have the HIPAA laws where you can't release patient medical information is very confidential. So you can't release patients' information and everything, and you can't take pictures and you can't post things about it on social media. So it's really interesting how they film their doctor's appointments and stuff. I don't know how they're getting around that because of the HIPAA laws. Because I know that my last job and the job that I'm on now, my employers, they're very adamant on sharing information about the residents, or and my last job, the clients. I mean, they were very adamant on you can't put stuff on social media, you can't take pictures and post things about your clients on Facebook, you can't talk about them because medical information is very, very private. And if you share too much information about someone's medical information, you can literally go to jail. Literally, you can really go to prison. And you have to pay fines. So it's very serious. HIPAA laws are very serious, and so that amazes me how they go to the doctors and they document their doctor's appointments and everything. I don't know how they're getting around that. I don't know if they're signing some type of papers or whatever. I don't know how they're getting around that, but they record, like when she has to go to the hospital, they record that, and so that amazes me how they get around that. And maybe they signed something. I don't know. But I know just recently the wife just found out that she was pregnant again, and they went to a mall, and they was jumping on this apparatus at the mall. She was jumping on it, and then shortly after that, she was started doing some bleeding, so she had to go to the hospital. So they filmed her at the hospital and everything, talking to the doctor and all that kind of stuff, doing the ultrasound. And I do enjoy looking at the ultrasounds and everything that they do, you know. Um, so after that, people was like, well, you know, calling them stupid. She shouldn't have been jumping on that thing, and she's stupid. And then calling her husband stupid for letting her jump on it. You know, she could have had a miscarriage and all this stuff. You guys are so stupid. So they was under a lot of scrutiny for that. You know, I mean, they got a lot of criticism in the comment section because they felt like, you know, because she was jumping on this thing, they felt like, you know, she put herself at risk of getting a miscarriage. Everything turned out to be okay, but she was under a lot of scrutiny. They was under a lot of scrutiny for that. So, and they do a lot of filming in the doctor's office, and you know, like I say, they do family blogs. They have a reality show pretty much here on YouTube, and so they pretty much blog everything. I mean, and so um it's other people on here. I know they say the word is on they say the word on the YouTube streets. The word on YouTube is that women are getting pregnant, and they come on YouTube and they announce the pregnancy, and then like 3 weeks later they come back and say that they had a miscarriage, and then they talk about that to get views. Now I don't know whether they're doing that or not. I can't say whether people are doing that or not, but I hear the word on YouTube is that people are doing that to get views. That people are saying that they're pregnant and then 3 weeks later coming back and saying they miscarried so they can get more views. Now, I don't know, stuff they're saying some people are guilty of that. I don't know. But that's what I hear, that people are doing that. I don't think it's good to do things like that to get views. I just don't think that's a good idea. But they say some people are doing it. I don't know whether they're doing that or not. But I know, like I said, I like to watch Strong Mommy Chrissy, and she just recently announced that she was having another baby. She's got 8, now she's gonna have 9, and of course people were cracking on her about that and everything, um, and I know she shares some information about in the past and currently about the possibility of her husband having an affair, and people are coming. You know, people come on her channel and they, um, you know, she gets scrutinized for that because she's already under a certain amount of scrutiny, so she gets scrutinized for that. Now that kind of information, I don't know. I think that might be a little bit too much information. Um, if I was married, if I had a husband on here, let's say hypothetically speaking, I got like I don't know 1,000 scribes, and I get married. Um, I'm gonna tell you know that you guys are gonna know I'm married. I might talk about my husband to a certain degree, but let's say my husband, hypothetically speaking, my husband is cheating on me. Well, I'm not gonna come on YouTube and tell you guys that my husband is cheating. You know, I'm just gonna kind of keep that private between me and my husband. I'm not gonna tell you guys that me and my husband is cheating. So um, some things should just be private here on YouTube. I mean, I think that's just sharing a little bit too much information. You know, that's giving a little bit too much information. Um, and because what happens is that when people talk about their husband cheating and then they decide to stay with their husband, well, people are coming in on your comment section and they're saying, well, you're stupid to stay with your husband, I'd leave him, and and people, and you should never tell anyone to leave their husband. You know, I mean, that is personal, that's a personal decision. You know, marriage issues, I don't get in people's business. I make it a, a, a rule myself as a Christian, and then as in general. I don't get in people's marital affairs. I don't get in people's marital business. And that's anybody. I don't care who it is. I don't get in anybody's marital business. I don't tell people what to do. I don't tell people, well, girl, you ought to leave him. because that's not my business. It's not my business to tell you to leave your husband. That is a personal decision that every woman has to make. And so what happens is when you put that information on YouTube, you're inviting people into your marriage. You're literally inviting people into your marriage, and they're gonna put their 2 cents in. And I just don't think it's right for people to tell people what to do. And then because um, the Bible doesn't say you have to divorce someone because of adultery. It just says you could. You have spiritual grounds to get a divorce. It didn't say you had to. So you can forgive that person. I don't know how many times if that's what you choose to do. Um, but it's a personal decision for every woman. It's a personal decision, and it has nothing to do with anyone else. A marriage is between the husband and the wife and God, and it don't have nothing to do with nobody else. So marriage is so. I think that people shouldn't share that information on YouTube. I don't think people should share their marital situation if they're having marital problems. I don't really think that people should share that on YouTube. You can talk about your mate, or whatever, or you can include your mate in your blogs or whatever, or y'all got like a little reality thing going on. That's wonderful. But then um, talking about your marital issues, there's certain things on YouTube, I think, in my opinion, that should just stay private. And stuff like that needs to stay private because then you got to say, you got people putting their 2 cents in saying, well, you stupid for not divorcing him, and why would you put up with that? And, da, 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 da. And so people are crossing the line. They're crossing the line. They're getting out of their lane, telling you what to do in your marriage situation when that's a personal decision. But when you put it out there, you inviting people in. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that's too much information. People don't need to be knowing all that. If I was married, I had a husband on here, and my husband was cheating on me, you guys are not gonna know about it. If we work it out, um, then that's fine. But as far as I'm still married. But if we don't work it out, we happen to get a divorce, then I'll tell you guys that I'm divorced. If I'm doing a video topic talking about adultery, I may state the reason why, because I'm trying to make a point in my video, but I'm not going to go into the full details with you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So, but if I'm not doing it as a point, because sometimes I'll share certain information on here, if it's relevant to the topic that I'm talking about on my video. Like I told you guys about the payday loan situation. Um, it was relevant to that video that I was talking about, that information. So, I share that with you because that was relevant to my topic. If it's relevant to my topic, I might talk about it. But if it's not relevant to my topic, I'm not going to just come out here and say, yeah, this and that and this and that and the other. So I know that I don't share I tell you, you guys know that I'm from Michigan, but I don't prefer to talk about my city. Because as positive as I try to keep my channels, I got haters on here, you know. And so I just don't feel like I want everybody to know, my city. If you figure it out, then, well, you figured it out. But I'm not going to just tell that information on here. Um, and, you guys know that, Sweet June, you obviously know that that's my first name, but I'm not going to reveal my last name on here. I think if I had it to do it all over again, I would have came up with a video topic or a name for my channel without including my first name in it. It would have just been you know. But that was what I set up when I set up my account. That was what my username was when I set up my account. So I decided to use it, So, but I don't reveal my last name on here, and I don't reveal my city. So there's certain information on here because it's just too easy for people to find out where you live. And so I don't want everybody knowing where I live, because you got some crazy people out here. And so some things I just prefer. Now some people, if it's relevant to their channel, they do give out that information. Like, I told you guys I like to watch the Shay Show. He's into real estate, and so everybody know that he in Detroit, because he's into real estate. Well, that's the reason why people know that is because it's relevant to his channel. That information is relevant to his channel because he's into real estate and all that kind of stuff. So he talks about and he documents videos um, with him going to the different properties and everything like that. So it's like the whole premise of his channel. It's relevant to his channel. It's like the whole premise of his channel. Well, that's a little bit different because that's, him revealing his city and everything. It's the whole premise of his channel. So if it's the whole premise of your channel, then yeah, you could reveal that information. You got some people on here that got their first and last name on here. Um, I don't know. It just, I guess it just depends on the individual person. I don't prefer to share that information on here. But if some people do, if it's relevant to their channel, um, they might share that information. It just depends on the person. Like some people do New York City vlogs. I love watching the New York City vlogs, where people go around New York and they talk about the apartments and they do apartment, and I watched this one person, I Love New York or whatever. I love NY. I watched that channel and she does a lot of blogs talking about New York. It's very fascinating because I've never been to New York. So I love watching the New York where they're talking about New York and they go into different places and they're showing you different neighborhoods. It's very fascinating. I get a chance to see New York without actually going there. And that's my goal, to actually go there. Um, but I love it. Now that channel is, that information is relevant. Her whole channel is based on New York City, so obviously people are gonna know that she's in New York City. Um, so because her whole channel, that's her whole platform is talking about New York City. So I guess it just depends on um what your channel is. I know I mainly, like I said, I do a lot of commentary on here. I talk about various different topics, and so my whole channel is not based on my city where I live. I've done certain videos in certain places, um, like that my park video where I shot at the park and all that kind of stuff, but my whole channel is not based on my city where I'm from, so it's not really necessary for me to tell you guys my city that I live in. So I guess it just depends on, you know, your channel and your format or whatever, or what you base your channel on, your whole platform. Um, so I mean, like I know Tommy Sotomayor. I know you guys are familiar with him. His whole MO is bashing black women, and so because that's his MO, he has a lot of haters. And so what irks me about him is that he'll move, because he moves around a lot. He'll move and he'll tell people the city and the state that he done moved to. Now you got haters, and he's actually had people make threats against him. Now I don't condone violence on anybody. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me why they even do that, because he's one of millions of YouTubers on here, and he's not the only black man on YouTube that bashes black women. I mean, there's other black men on YouTube that bashes black women. When I like to watch the content where he's not bashing black women, he actually has some other interesting content where he's not bashing black women. So uh, I like to watch that content, but he actually has people that has made threats against him to the point to where he's done doing videos and he got guns and everything. It's like, that's really serious when you doing videos and you got guns. So with him, if he knows that, then why would you tell people your city? I wouldn't tell people my state or my city. And he shares his state and his city, and then he'll do videos with him driving around the neighborhood, and you'll see the street signs and all this kind of stuff, and you'll see the area, And so I just think he gives too much information. He does. I do enjoy his house tours. Um, but he'll show the outside of the house, and so I know this guy named Stupidity Editors, whatever his guy's name is. He did a video. If you guys ever watch him, he did a video where he showed Tommy's neighborhood. He showed his house, and so that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you got haters and you got people making threats that's threatening your life, that's the last thing you want to do is tell people where you live. Don't tell people your city. I told him one day in the comments, as I said, stop telling people what city and state you live in. People don't need to be knowing all that. So I don't know. Maybe one day he'll learn. Maybe he figured he got guns, so he don't care. But it's just the principle of the thing. People can just roll up on you. So I just don't think he should be sharing that information, especially if he got haters that's making threats against him and stuff. He just don't need to. He need to stay as private as possible. You know. So it's just that's just it is what it is with him. Because he's very opinionated. He shares strong opinions about black women. Um, I don't agree with a lot of things that he says, but I respect his right to be able to express that. I mean, it's YouTube. I mean, they allow him to be on here, so you know, if I don't like what he's saying, I know how to click to another channel. It's that simple. People just get too caught up in these things sometimes. It's really not that serious. The larger scheme of things is really not that serious. Um, So that's just too much. If you got haters coming after you and threatening you, then you definitely don't need to be telling people your city and state and all that stuff. You got to remain as private as absolutely possible. Um, and like I say, there's some things like on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook, like some people will come on Facebook and they'll put they'll unload all their drama. If they're going through some family drama or whatever, they'll unload all their drama on Facebook. And so you're like, wow, like, so now everybody, if you got 200 friends or 300 friends or whatever, how many friends you got, every last one of them know what's going on in your family if they've looked at your video, your status. And so it's just some things that I know. My Facebook, I do have a Facebook page, but that's my Facebook page that I have for my friends, family, co-workers, people that I went to school with. I mean, that's specifically for people that know me. When I get more scribes, I'm going to have a Facebook page, but that's going to be under Sweet June. That's going to be specifically for my YouTubers. So I like to keep them separate. I don't want my YouTubers on my regular Facebook page, because there's information on there that I don't necessarily want people to know. I don't want everybody knowing. So I like to keep them separate. That one's for people that know me, been knowing me for years, all that. The friends, family, co-workers, whatever. Um, my if I do start another Facebook page, it's going to be specifically for my YouTubers. I'll let you guys know whenever I start that. But I'd rather keep them separate. Me personally, that's just me. But but I know like I say, I've expressed to you guys before that um, I've talked about my son trying to rap and be a rapper, and how I just you know um, don't want him to go into that. Um, I didn't reveal to you his identity as a rapper, because I don't want to promote his stuff on here. So that information I don't prefer to share with you guys, because I don't. He does a lot of cussing and going on and a lot of inappropriate stuff. So I'm not going to share that information on here. If you happen to stumble across it, or if he gets more successful in it, then you make the connection. Oh well, it is what it is. But I'm not going to share that information on here. So it's just some things. And then there's some things that sometimes I do a little reality stuff, but then there's just some things that's going on and that goes on that may go on in my household that you guys are not going to know about because I'm not going to put my business out there like that. I tell you guys what I want you to know. That I don't want you to know, you're not going to know about. So I do my job journey updates and stuff, and I just think that's interesting. And so, but there's certain things that I'm going to share about my job situation because I do work in healthcare. So I'm not going to share too much information. I'm basically going to tell you what I'm doing on the job, and that's it, and what the job entails, and that's it. So I'm obviously not going to share too much information about that. So it just depends, like I say, me personally, there's some things I keep private, but if I want you to know something, I'll share it with you if it's relevant to my video topic or what I'm talking about. So I just think talking about marital problems and certain medical issues, I mean, if it's relevant to the topic of your video, um, if I'm having medical problems, like I've talked about in the past, I've talked about those issues, but they were relevant to my video topic of what I was talking about. But I'm not gonna be filming myself going to the doctor and all this kind of stuff. I ain't gonna be going into all that. So some other people do it. I guess, they got a reality thing going on, then that's on them. But some things I'm gonna keep private. So it just depends. So I just think talking about I guess there's nothing wrong with it's nothing wrong with, especially if you educating people, it's nothing wrong with talking about medical problem issues or whatever if you're educating people. But there's a line. There's a line. Um, but talking about marital problems, marital issues, and things like that, sharing too much information about your family, that's to me drawing the line. You're putting a little bit too much information out there. You don't want to share too much information about your finances. I know this one family did a blog on um, uh, ratchet food stamp haul. Yeah, that's how they titled the video. And I'm like, okay, they're letting everybody know that they're going shopping with food stamps. And I know how a lot of people feel about people being on food stamps. People look down on people that got food stamps. I said, okay, I seen that title. I said, okay, they're setting themselves up for, first of all, why are they calling themselves ratchet? Second of all, they're setting themselves up to get some major criticism on here. You know, they're setting themselves up to get some major criticism about being on food stamps. You know, so stuff like that. I looked at that. I said, and people do that kind of stuff to get views, but there's other ways to get views on here. You don't have to necessarily be putting all your business out there to get views. Um, so it's just like I say, it's just some things that should be private. People don't really need to know that you're getting food stamps. If it's relevant to the video topic you're talking about, yeah, you can share that information. But to do a video saying ratchet food stamp haul, then it's like you're glamorizing it. You're glamorizing it. You're really putting it out there. You're putting it out there a little bit too much, and they don't have to necessarily title it like that. They could have just said food haul. You know, it's good to do food haul videos, but you don't have to say food stamp food haul. You could just say a food haul, or I did a Walmart haul, or a Save-A-Lot haul, or whatever. I did a couple of food haul videos on here where I talked about my health food shopping. So you don't have to put food stamps in there or whatever. You know, so I don't know. I just thought when I seen that, I said, well, they're setting themselves up for major criticism. Yeah, they're gonna get views, but it's not gonna be good. People are gonna come on here because let's face facts. People that are on food stamps get looked down upon. You know, they just get looked down upon, and so it's just too much information. I just think people don't really need to know all that. You know, But you know, it just like I said, it depends on the individual YouTuber. Some YouTubers feel comfortable with sharing that information. If they can take the backlash that comes as a result of all that, then so be it. You know, you do have to have a thick skin on here, but that doesn't mean that you have to put yourself in a situation to where you're getting too much scrutiny, where you're under too much scrutiny. Getting too much scrutiny is not good, because at the end of the day, we're all human, and um, some things we're gonna get affected by some things. If we're under too much scrutiny, then if you're under too much scrutiny, then yeah, after a while it's gonna start messing with you. After a while, you know, because at the end of the day, we're all human, you know. But I know it's another YouTuber on here. I'm not really gonna say her name, but you guys may know who I'm talking about. She um, was talking about how she got pregnant by a married guy, and he's not in the child's life at this present time. And so she's talking about that whole situation during her pregnancy, and um, she's talking about the whole situation from the beginning into the end. I think she's being a little bit too candid. She's giving us a little bit too much information. Um, and I think that, you know, I was like, I be looking at her videos and I'd be like, girl, that's too much. That's too much. You know, people don't need to be knowing all that. But I think it's her therapy. You know, YouTube is like my therapy in a sense too. But I think it's, you know, she thinks it's cathartic. It's a form of therapy for her, getting things off her chest, as well as educating people. That's all well and good, because you know I feel that way too. But she's just sharing way too much information. She's just giving way too much information on here, because now it's to the point to where she's got people doing videos. She's got other YouTubers doing videos about talking about her business, you know, and her situation that's going on between her and her baby daddy. She's got people doing videos. They're not just putting their opinion in the comment section. They're doing whole videos talking about her situation. So when you got people doing videos of your situation, of talking about your situation, that lets you know right there, you putting a little bit too much information on YouTube. You're just putting too much information out there. So, yes, she's got people doing videos about her situation. So I think when it gets to that point, that lets you know right there you sharing a little bit too much information on YouTube. Because I know I look at her videos and I be like, girl, whoo, that's too much information. Don't she, you know, she shares too much information. I mean, there's nothing wrong with talking about the situation at hand, but she shares too much. She shares too much, you know? Um, she just, you guys may know who I'm talking about, but she gives too much information on here. It's just too much, you know. And so I think when it gets to the point that other people are starting to blog about your business, that's too much. You didn't share too much information. You didn't put too much of your life out there. So um, it's just too much. It's just too much. So I think my opinion, I think that um, there is a such thing as putting too much information on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. Um, it's there's some things that just should be private, that you should keep private, for your own peace of mind, you know, especially uh, if your family members. I mean, you know, if you involve certain family members, maybe you shouldn't go into certain things like that. So it's, you know, some things should be private, you know, some things you should keep private unless it's relevant to your video topic of what you're talking about. Like I said, I may share certain things on here if it's relevant to my topic of what I'm talking about. But then again, you guys only know so much information about me anyway. So, so It just, I don't know. There is a line. I do think that there is a line. Well, anyway, let me know in the comment section of what you guys think. Do you think, how much do you think, you know, um, there's certain information on here people should not share? What's, in your opinion, what's too much information to put on social media? Let me know what you think in the comment section about that. Um, what would you reveal on YouTube or Facebook, or what you wouldn't reveal? Um, so let me know what you think in the comment section. Stay tuned. I got some more interesting video topics coming up. This is Sweet June.